Hello, good morning everyone. How are you? My name's Rita. Whoops. My name's Rita Fleming, and I'm a certified regenerative detoxification specialist, clinical herbalist, and iridologist. And today I wanted to share with you a little bit of information about regenerative healing. So this is one of my huge passions and favorite subjects because I'll tell you my story. But just want to introduce Dr. Robert Morse. He's a wizard. He's amazing. He's just full of so much love. And his works have completely transformed my life. So this book, the Detox Miracle Source book, is incredible. It's really about healing the body by working with the systems of the body, working with herbs, working with alkaline foods, and lots of fruits. I have a little iridology example for you as well today, and this is just where we can dive into the different systems of the body, from your kidneys to your brain to your bowels, and what that means from a genetic standpoint. So I'll start off by sharing a little bit of my story with you. When I was at 19, I was in a near fatal car accident, and I broke 16 bones. I broke my spine off. Broke my spine in 8 places, and the doctors told me that I may not walk again. I definitely can't get back to sports, normal lifestyle things, and basically said I'd have chronic pain for my entire life. So I came out of that experience actually really grateful. Did experience passing away and choosing to come back, and through that I really got to tap into a deep state of unconditional love. So for me, the subject of death is not a scary subject. It's really a beautiful subject where my experience of it was just complete, amazing, beautiful love. Like you're being held by such beauty, such grace, really taken care of. There's no separation. It's just pure unconditional love, unlike anything else I've ever experienced. So that really translated, and I carried that with me, and I grew up with Iyengar yoga and was a yogi for my whole life. So that really helped me to kind of know that there was other possibilities for healing and that there was a deeper potential for me to heal. So I went on this long journey, this healing path, and it took about 10 years before I really was able to resolve my chronic pain and find a solution, and that's where Dr. Robert Morse came in. And so I had been doing a lot of body work, a lot of nutrition, and this just took it to the next level, working with our own personal genetics. So what I learned through my iridology analysis, and iridology is looking at your eyes. So if you take a picture of your right eye, your left eye, each has a map of the tissues, the soft tissues, what's going on in your lymphatic system, what's going on in your nervous system. And so through that, I was able to learn that my family has a genetic weakness in the parathyroid gland. And the parathyroid gland is in charge of all of our bone and connective tissue health. So it's in charge of our calcium utilization and absorption. And so when that's weakened, it's a lot harder for tissues to repair. It's a lot harder, there's scoliosis often, and that is all along my mom's side of the family, or was until we started to address it. Varicose veins, things like this are really common with a parathyroid weakness, as well as saggy or wrinkling skin or prolapsed organs. So that structural integrity, that tissue integrity really comes back to the health of the parathyroid gland. And so I started working on that, and what I learned is that many of our glands and our tissues actually get weakened over time due to chronic lymphatic congestion. And so our lymphatic system is such an amazing system. If you were to imagine it, it would kind of look like the nervous system throughout the whole body, but it's the lymphatic system. And what it does is it eliminates all waste and cellular waste and viruses and bacteria, harmful pathogens, anything that is a foreign protein or a foreign substance. The lymphatic system is in charge of getting rid of that out of the body. And so when you get deeper into the study of iridology, basically you start to see that many people are living with chronic lymphatic congestion, the majority of people. And even if you're 2 years old, I mean, it's something that we're born with. So a 2-year-old can have chronic lymphatic congestion, but they can heal that and clean that and eliminate that. And through this process, I was able to fully regenerate and heal my body. And I've been pain-free for the last 3 years after living in chronic pain for over 10. So really the magic is in cleaning up that lymphatic system, and then the organs start to heal, the tissues start to heal, the glands start to heal, the skin starts to heal. So it's a really beautiful and amazing process. And if you're wondering how to clean up your lymphatic system and what that actually, if we were to look at eyes, say that you have true blue eyes, but say that when we're looking at them through a picture, they're brown, they look brown, and maybe you've had brown eyes your whole life and you think that they're brown, and you, maybe your parents have brown eyes, maybe they have blue. But really, if we can see that underneath that brown, that there's blue under there, then you actually have true blue eyes, and that brown is actually chronic lymphatic congestion. And then green eyes are a great example of subacute lymphatic congestion, because that's a true blue with yellow congestion over it, making green eyes. So the neat thing is, once you dive into this, the color of your eyes actually change. My mother, she used to have dark brown eyes, almost blackish. And that again was just like from inherited lymphatic congestion and from, eating Gerber milk since she was a little baby, never had, breast milk or anything like that. And that does impact the lymphatic system. And so now she has like light brown eyes, which is beautiful. She has true brown eyes. And so the neat thing is that when we get into this tissue state, is you can actually heal and repair the tissues, the glands, the nervous system. And so from my car accident, you can imagine that I had a fair amount of stress. It was definitely a traumatic experience, followed by a series of others. So what that left me with was a bunch of nerve rings in my eyes, and it basically looks like the rings of a tree around the eyes. And so the best way to really support the nervous system is by working with your adrenals. So I started working with herbs and fruits to really support my adrenals, and herbs and fruits to really support my lymphatic system, and herbs and fruits to really get my kidneys filtering. And it takes a few months to get your kidneys filtering. But once you do, that's the initial phases of healing. That's when you're actually starting to be able to eliminate that lymphatic congestion from the body. So it's a really powerful experience. But what comes with that are detoxification symptoms. And so detoxification symptoms either look like aches and pains or headache, mucus coming out of the body, either rashes or pimples, trying to eliminate lymphatic congestion out of the skin, or old fungus overgrowth that is releasing and coming out of the surface, out of the skin to be eliminated, or mucus out the nose, out the lungs, out the bowels. Those are all really good signs, because that mucus, again, is what's dampening the body and like really kind of stopping that healing process from happening. So once you start eliminating those things, the tissues start to function at their optimal level. And it's pretty amazing what we're capable of and what we're capable of healing. So my personal detox symptoms and experience were a little bit intense. They definitely were, but it was way worth it. I mean, I'd much rather go through a few days of discomfort than a lifelong of chronic pain. And it was at the point, my chronic pain, where I didn't know what to do about it. I was exhausted by it. It was emotionally draining. I just wanted to go to bed by 9, because it was just, being in pain is exhausting. It really is. And so what I had to do during my detoxification is, as lymph was pulling out of all of those old injured areas, trauma areas, pain would come up. So I felt like I literally had gotten in my car accident that day. And so pain in my scapula, pain in my sacrum, pain in my pelvis, pain in my knee, pain in my spine, all of it. I had to re-experience it and relive it as if it was happening that day. And so I slept through a lot of that, and I drank tea, and I took warm baths, and I rested, and I read, and I spent time in nature, pretty much anything to just kind of get through that. And then on the other side of it, I didn't have pain anymore. And I had to go through a few layers because there was deep traumas and there was deep tissue layers that had to be healed. And your body's really incredible. It's so intelligent. It will go where you're ready to heal. So it's different for each person, and your body will be like, okay, we're going to spend energy here healing. And that's a really key point, is that it takes a ton of energy to self-heal. So hence why we're working with a lot of wild herbs and a lot of fruits. Fruits have the highest electromagnetic frequency, also meaning they have the highest measurement of angstroms, or measurement of energy. And they're absorbed straight into the cell wall through a process called diffusion. So it doesn't have to go through all the other digestive processes that vegetables, for instance, have to go through. So through these fruits, they are raising the frequency of the body, including at that cellular level, creating cellular ATP, cellular energy, but also cleansing the body of what's not serving you anymore. And that is also emotional. So sometimes, again, old emotional traumas can come up for people. So it's really important that they have a support system, someone they can talk to, or just processing techniques. And my favorite processing techniques, one of them is Ho'oponopono. Hello, everyone. And Ho'oponopono is restoring balance. It's a traditional Hawaiian method of restoring balance in the community. And it just is as simple as, I forgive you, I love you, I'm sorry, and I thank you. And I forgive myself, I love myself, I'm sorry, and I thank you. So that really helps you to move through any emotional detoxification that comes up and just allow it to release, allow it to process. Sometimes different, emotional detoxifications that come up are things that we didn't even know were there, memories that we didn't know were there, or just old feelings that we haven't felt in a long time. So it's really powerful to allow that process to happen. It only takes, either 24 hours to 3 days, 5 days max. But on that other side is just so much freedom, so much release. And so it's a really powerful process of cellular healing. So when I was going through my process of regenerative healing, like I was saying, I had to go through the different pain symptoms throughout my body. Those passed within a few days, and then I had a couple weeks of that. And again, that was working with high energy foods, primarily fruits. I was about at least 80% fruits plus amazing herbs. And it's the synergy between the two where the power really happens. So I know a lot of people who have gone on the fruit path and just done fruits, but they're missing that herbal component, which are really grounding and remineralizing and restorative to the entire endocrine system and all of the glands. So during this process, it's really important to be working with kidney herbs, number one, because the kidneys, again, are what is eliminating that lymphatic waste, that lymphatic congestion out of the body. So kidney herbs, and then once your kidneys are filtering, it's really important to work with lymphatic herbs. And again, if we're looking at the root cause of disease, it really comes down to tissue weakness, endocrine weakness, and this lymphatic congestion that is passed down multi-generational for many generations. Foods that do congest the lymphatic system the most are primarily dairy, processed foods, processed sugars, toxins, glyphosate, things that we're exposed to on a regular basis. But if we're keeping those kidneys filtering, then we're really able to me, it is the fountain of youth. It really is what allows us to heal and repair and regenerate. So working with a kidney formulation, working with a lymphatic formulation, not if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, but talk with an herbalist, talk with your doctor, figure out the best fit. Dr. Robert Morse's herbs are amazing. And then working with endocrine support. So our adrenals really rule our kidneys, and adrenals, they impact the health of all the tissues in the body. So our ability to repair and regenerate has so much to do with our adrenal health. Our adrenals also get inflammation out of the body. They produce important steroids that really combat inflammation. They're also really key to our emotional health and our emotional well-being. So if you happen to experience a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, that often is an indicator that those adrenals are weakened or down. And that's something that you can really support on a daily basis. My favorite is through herbs and fruits again, and rest, a lot of rest. So if people have a chronic adrenal weakness, meaning it's been around for multiple years, then it's really important to work on those adrenals consistently for 18 months to 3 years. Even if it's just a real subtle acute adrenal weakness, it can often take 6 months to 18 months to really work on those. Some of my favorite adrenal herbs are eleuthero and rhodiola, lion's mane. So really working to repair the nervous system by repairing those adrenals. And once those adrenals are up and running, the kidneys are going to be up and running to allow that elimination of lymphatic waste out of the body. And that lymphatic waste, if we leave it in the body, again, it breaks down the tissues. It shuts down the glands and the organs from working at an optimal level, so they can either be hyper-functioning, over-functioning, or hypo-functioning, under-functioning. And so again, we're just cleaning up the body at the cellular level, getting rid of cellular wastes, and that allows the body from there heals. So a really great example is what our earth is going through right now. We're taking a pause. There's not as many flights, not as much pollution, not as much hustle and bustle, and what we're seeing is the natural habitat starting to rebuild themselves, and animals coming out that haven't been out in places and forever, and the bees are going to be supported by this process, and the ozone is slowly starting to heal itself, and it's just because we're having a break from this constant pollution that is impacting the planet. And it's the same with ourselves. So if we can just limit the amount of pollution that we're ingesting, either through what we put on our skin, what we breathe in, to what we're eating, all of that is really important. And then on top of that, that's part one. And then part two is if you can get your organs of elimination working at their optimal level, and we all have work to do on this. It doesn't matter if you're 2 or 90, we all have work to do on this. The most interesting thing I think I've found is that our elders, our grandparents, their genetics are strong because they primarily grew up on organic foods, didn't grow up with a ton of processed foods, and it's only, in the last 50 years or so that's become such a dominating force. So when you look at their genetic constitution through their iridology, their genes are strong, their tissues are strong, they have minimal lymphatic congestion. Now take a 2-year-old, we're looking at a lot more tissue weaknesses, way more incidences of chronic lymphatic congestion, way more incidences of chronic endocrine weaknesses. So it also means they can heal it. We have basically what's causing this, how did we get here, and then how do we get out of this. So that's why I really love these works. They're super potent and powerful and amazing. And if I was able to regenerate my body, I really feel that anybody can, because I was at as probably as bad as it gets as far as the body being wrecked. And now I'm 100% good. I wouldn't even know. So that's why I love this work. I really believe in the power of regeneration. So, if we can limit the amount of toxins that we're being exposed to and then get our organs of elimination working, so that includes our kidneys, our bowels, our lungs, our skin. So that means sweating daily, going into a dry sauna, dry brushing. You can do herbal steams to really support the lungs. But yeah, that's like the basic formulation. And then if you were to do this on your own, it's nice to have support because there's a lot of like little things that can really help you. So please reach out. Always happy to help people. But the equation is basically getting at least 80% alkaline diet. So that is primarily fruits and veggies. Fruits are the easiest for our bodies to digest. Veggies are a little bit more difficult. So the best is to do veggie juices or something that's sprouted and raw and dehydrated, that's high quality, just to get those deep micronutrients and greens in. Your greens, your veggies, those are going to be rebuilding to your bones, your structure, your muscles. Your fruits are going to be cleansing of that lymphatic system so the tissues can repair, so the glands can repair, so the brain and nervous system can repair. And if you're working with anything like brain and nervous system or endocrine system, that's where the high percentage of fruits is incredibly healing, again, because of the electrical conductivity of them, which responds well to our electrical system. So fruits, just like a quick little thing, you want to eat them on their own. They digest really quickly. You don't want to put them on top of other heavy meals because then they'll just be sitting and they'll start to ferment and then create a lot of fermentation, alcohol levels, and yeast or candida buildup in the body, which is the last thing we want. So fruits eaten on their own or eaten half hour, even better an hour before other foods, it's going to digest really quickly, it's going to burn, they're going to use that energy and feed it directly to the cells so that the cells can start creating that cellular ATP and energy, which allows for healing. And then it's going to, again, it takes so much energy to heal, so much energy to eliminate waste, and so much energy to repair. So that's what the fruits are doing. And then when you add in the high potent herbs, now you're really getting your much more range of your vitamins and your minerals and things that are important to all of the systems of the body. So it really is just an incredible balance, and it's different for each person. And, all of us, every single day, our bodies are going through either a cleansing phase or a rebuilding phase. And what this process does is it helps you to become in tune with your own body. So when you're on a rebuilding phase, you want more rebuilding foods, greens and nuts and seeds and aminos. And when you're on a cleansing phase, your body is really trying to eliminate waste, really repair the tissues, the organs, the nervous system, and that's where you're going to want more fruits. So if you have any questions about any of that, obviously really passionate about it and love it. It's a science, it's an art, it's goes back throughout history, throughout multiple traditions, throughout cultures, this period of fasting by incorporating high energy foods to give our bodies a break to heal and repair. So love you all. Please reach out with questions. Again, if you want to learn more, you can check out this book by Dr. Robert Morse. And I'll just leave you with the last couple tips. Today we really highlighted how to get the kidneys filtering. The top foods that get the kidneys filtering are like watermelon, lemons, cherries, tart cherry juice, and then the top foods that clean up the lymphatic system are your grapes and your lemons, anything astringent, so your acid and subacid fruits like your citrus, your berries, and then melons. When you're eating them, just eat them totally alone, away from other fruits as well. Yeah, and then herbs that are really great for kidney filtration, check with your doctor and your local herbalist, check in with me if you want formulations. but juniper berries are really powerful for that. Erva ursi, marshmallow root. There's so many wonderful herbs that are really supportive of the kidneys. And that would be like the very first steps. So love you all. Be well. Hope you're enjoying the festival. Hope you're enjoying your day. Get some sunshine, at least 15 minutes a day to get that vitamin D. And yeah, keep working on getting those alkaline foods, alkaline nourishment into your body. If you have any questions, holler and reach out. Love ya.